welcome back to episode 4 of Out of Focus Tech, which coincidentally I just realized may be mislabeled on all the live streams as episode 3. So, welcome to a disorganized episode that we're going to roll through and do something a little bit different. Um, we decided that we're going to take a look at what's kind of been in the news the last couple of days, and that is, President Trump taking over, changing of the guard, as it were, and as he's done previously, and a lot of his predecessors have done in recent history. His first couple of days in office have been met with a slew of executive orders. Some of those affecting technology, some of it just affecting the inner office space, and some of the other things that we have to deal with as we move around the great country here. So we're just going to jump into it, and we're going to talk about some of the ones that we found uh, interesting, comical, just laughable at some points, and we'll see where it takes us. With me tonight, I've got Vic and Sam. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. First order of business, and first up off the press, um, is the executive order that President Trump signed that should have limited my scroll wheel abilities, but obviously is not working. Um, has to do with digital assets, which I kind of overlooked at first, not realizing exactly what this was dealing with. I thought it was more the kind of the Facebook banter and stuff that had been going on, and TikTok and that kind of stuff. But pulling it up tonight, realized that it actually had to deal with crypto. Realistically, this is digital assets in the financial sector. Um, and he's enacted a couple things that have effects on cryptocurrency, which I think most people these days are at least following to some extent, whether you like it or not. Um, Sam, since you're new to the show, what are your feelings on crypto?
I feel like we're definitely, though the few of us that haven't already been invested are definitely behind the curveball. I, just like you in the beginning, thought it was going to pop off and then maybe fall off. But it's looking like it's definitely here to stay, especially with the government getting involved. That's the biggest thing, with the other coins, it was always someone or something that wasn't so big kind of making it big. And then as more people invested, it brought the price up. But once the government gets its claws on it, we're the greatest country on this planet. So we're going to end up, everyone will have to follow suit if we make this a
Mhm.
real currency. And if that's what Trump's trying to do, it's gonna be big.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was we read this. I'm not sure that he's necessarily trying to uh, get the U.S. into the crypto game. I could be misreading this, and correct me as we go along if that's the case. I know for me, one of the things that scares me about crypto now is, I admit when it first came out, I'm like, that's just video game currency. That's so you can, water your horse in World of Warcraft or whatever hot game it was at the time. It's definitely evolved since then, and it is a legitimate transaction backing device, I guess. But I'm very much tied to tangible things, and I'm scared that if when the government gets involved and says, "All right, here's the U.S. crypto dollar or crypto cent, whatever they want to call it," eventually, cold hard cash is going away, and I realize that I say that with a grain of salt, knowing that cold hard cash is somewhat of a placebo effect these days as well. But in the end, I can rat hole greenbacks and for a rainy day and go spend them. But if we go crypto and that becomes the only legal tender, now I got nothing I can rat hole that I can keep from everybody.
Yeah, what country was out there that they actually did go crypto? I know somebody did. I think their whole
I
government.
don't know. I remember hearing about it, but I don't know the specifics on it. Um, I know with the brick, the with China and Russia and all them trying to create an economic gathering that they were heavily backing crypto and basing that brick. trade agreement a lot on crypto, um,
Yeah.
as well as other forms of goods as well, but a lot on crypto as being the legal tender and that kind of stuff. I don't recall ever seeing that a certain country went
Yeah, I
all
think it
hard
was
on
a.
crypto. I know that a lot of countries have come out and said, "All right, uh, here's our country central bank backed cryptocurrency, and we will take our you know American dollars for this currency for this crypto coin. British pounds relates directly to this or whatever." But I
I
don't know that anybody came out and said crypto only.
actually, yeah, here it is right here. It says the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender in 2021, El Salvador.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And that Yeah, okay. You're not sharing that. Okay. That so was that I guess I mean making it legal tender that I'm guessing that just makes it legal tender like a dollar for private and public uh debts so that everybody has to take it, but they didn't do away with physical currency either.
Yeah, it's
So,
probably too early in the game to do something like that.
I think it is, but it's definitely a long game and I don't know, you know, we I always go back to like science fiction movies and stuff. Wasn't that long ago in 1980s when Star Trek was out that being able to touch your ear and talk to somebody 1,000 miles away or light years away was just oh, that'll never happen, but that's cool to watch. And I've got AirPods in now, and I can tap my ear and make a phone call and call somebody on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Uh, you
What
know,
do you think about the like? Let's put it in the air that crypto doesn't go away, right? That it's a real thing. The government's going to get involved, right? There's the fear aspect of it, which I understand, right? But then there's the jobs and IT field growing side of it that I really do like, right? Because we were talking about blockchain and these all these different things that you're gonna like. Someone has to protect that. Someone has to administer
oh yeah,
that. Someone has to do something to it. So it should create some pretty lucrative jobs for those that are trying to excel in this field, right?
yeah. I think initially it would create a lot of lucrative jobs, and then eventually, it's going to offset. That's going to be offset though, because if you go to more cryptocurrency than physical cash transactions or checks and that kind of stuff, and you're already kind of seeing this. Like, think of all the bank tellers that are going to lose their job because nobody needs to go to the bank. Like, you're not getting a check that you need to go put in your bank account every Friday, or you're not going to get dollars. You're not going to get cash out of your paycheck every Friday after a direct deposit. So while initially in that beginning phase, yeah, there'd be a great bump up in jobs required to complete this, but is that going to be long holding? And will that be enough to offset the many other jobs that will no longer be needed or greatly reduced?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I
So
think that
back
that's
to
kind of the
the
same thing
executive
that
order. I'm
happened.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, oh, I was just thinking that you made a good point, but I feel like that's kind of what happens every single time technologically we evolve, right? There were so many jobs in the early 1900s that they just completely vanished because
Oh yeah.
we built machinery to do it that something that took 30 men is now done by one person pressing a button.
Hmm.
So I do agree that I guess it kind of sucks that there's going to be a lot of people out of jobs and stuff, but it's almost a train you can't stop. So advice wise to people that are watching, always be ready to evolve. That way, you don't get hit too hard by all these different changes.
Hmm. Absolutely. Never. It's never too late to pivot. It can be scary, but it's something you got to keep an eye out for. It just in this case, especially like it's a pretty different skill set to go from being a an accountant running a bank line to, oh, I need to have a technology degree to be able to process these transactions because everything's coming through in hashed blockchain stuff and all that. So how many years would it take to offset that knowledge gap? That's just my thoughts on it. So back to the executive order here. So what the president is trying to do, just in a nutshell here, this is definitely not reading directly from the executive order, um, is trying to make sure that everybody has access to what they need for blockchain, for the public blockchain to work, um, and trying to make sure, like it says here, promoting the U.S. dollar's sovereignty through lawful dollar-backed stable coins. Um, but it doesn't, like, doesn't say that one there's one only one, I guess is what I'm trying to say, dollar backed stable coin. Um, so that's good for investors because now you have options. One of the things with crypto for me is like, you take Bitcoin and Athena and some of the other big ones, like those are companies that manage investments. They're not necessarily banks that just move money around. And the motivations are slightly different. So if you have more than just one option, you give investors better options. It gives you ways to diversify and keep from being, defrauded or maybe falling into a Ponzi scheme, something like that. So I think that's good that we're not necessarily narrowing it down to one. Uh, the executive order says it's got to ensure fair access to banking service. Like we've kind of talked about in the past with some of the stuff that's come out of the White House, even from the previous administration, like I feel like we're well past that. Like all the other laws and equal opportunities and things we do to make sure that people have basic utilities, which now include cell phones and internet. Like I feel like that's just a more of a political sentence in there to make a statement. I don't know what it really does. They're providing some regular clarity with technology neutral regulations. Mm, that's cool. I don't get that out of reading over it. Maybe it set some stuff in motion on in Congress, and they're going to codify a couple things and maybe do something with that. Eh, technology neutral regulations in the government, and there's always bias there somewhere. I'd like to see just exactly how neutral they could get it.
Yeah.
Um, and then the big one for me is protecting against the risk of the central bank digital currencies, um, which is like the would be the U.S. government monopolizing on the U.S. crypto dollar or whatever, and saying that that's the only form of transaction. And I know that the when the central bank digital currencies were coming out, like that was a big. There's a lot of fear, and I myself had it, so I'm biased, and I'll admit it. Of like the was it the next world order or whatever, like this is how they're going to take over. They're going to get everybody to go to this crypto that they can control and then just start taking it away. um
What do you think this part right here means? It says, it will also evaluate the potential creation of a national digital asset stockpile.
you
So
say
we're gonna just
stockpile?
start, yeah, we just gonna start buying up, like Bitcoin and
Well, I mean, that's I mean, we already currently keep a a currency stockpile in dollars. uh the treasury and the mint, they are always making more money than what's in circulation. And inflation problems aside, like we always keep something in the coffers for emergencies. We keep or you know we still keep some form of precious metals in the coffers. Fort Knox gold and all that is a myth these days, but the U.S. still has a stockpile of precious metals should it ever need it. It's probably not once what it was, and all that, but um, I think that that's just part of the migration to trying to make this a normal currency, because if the government doesn't have a stockpile of it, how can they ensure an even flow? Like just like with a dollar bill, they got to make sure that they can print enough to cover all of the circulatory debt and transactions that happen. Well, the same thing's got to be with cryptocurrency, right? If there's not enough coins to go around for everybody to cover their debts, you're going to leave somebody hanging, unable to pay a debt. That's going to cause a lot of issues, right?
Yeah,
Checks start bouncing, all that kind of stuff.
one thing that I really do like about crypto is that there's nothing in the dark. You can see every transaction. Anybody can go on and see any transaction. So what does that mean for the people who are, like the cartels down in Mexico? If we can see where their money's going, that kind of helps us.
That, but that only holds true if they make that transaction somewhere that's open.
Yeah, what if
There's
they just
still ways to hide it.
yeah, it's just easy. Like it's like that whole thing with Wayfair, right? They're like, oh, why does this cabinet cost $20,000? Maybe that's just the front that they're selling a cabinet, and
Yeah.
maybe they're selling something
Hey,
else.
listen, it's a very good cabinet. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is harder, but those kinds of organizations probably already have it figured out. Like, somebody's buying a bag of potatoes for $75,000 right now, and it's a 3 pound bag of potatoes, and somebody took a bite out of half of them. Um,
Yeah.
so
Speaking of
it does
speaking
make
of
it
the
more traceable. I think that would be that really only helps. I call them small time criminals, like your what's the word I'm looking for? Where you pocket money, like where you take money, skim money off the top of business transactions, and you pocket the money.
What are those
Starts with an
called?
E.
Embezzlement? I think it's
Yeah, that word, embezzlement. Thank you. That's it's going to make that harder. That in those kind of crimes, but eh, you know, I don't know. I'm sure
so.
there's a lot of different ways around it, but
My question, I guess, for all of us is:
mhm.
are you on the side of completely saying no to crypto, completely, or combining crypto as just like another form of transactional payments and stuff, or you're full on crypto? We can get rid of paper money, right? Are you on the far side of each side or right in the middle?
I'm in the middle. I want both. I still want physical, something that I can hold physically in my hand to be
Yeah,
accepted as legal tender.
yeah,
So that that the $100 bills I've stuffed under my mattress for a rainy day, if next hurricane and the power's out and nobody can process card transactions, I can still walk around with a couple $100 cash and make trade money, trade cash for groceries at a grocery store that doesn't have any power, or
yeah,
maybe just a generator to run a couple of lights so you can see what cans of groceries you're buying.
yeah.
you know but if you get away from that, like, you don't have that luxury. You are completely dependent on technology at that point.
yeah, I'm not completely sold on crypto, to tell you the truth. I mean, what if I
uh,
have Bitcoin or something, and I forget how to get into my wallet, or maybe I just die, and no, that Bitcoin's now lost. It'll never be used again.
yep, that's the question I've have. um but I'm kind of cynical. I'm not real fond of it, but at the same time I also recognize, like, what's the difference between uh, putting a crypto wallet number in an online transaction and my debit card number? I don't
Same
see the
thing.
physical money that
Yeah,
left my debit card and went to Sam.
I
Like,
mean,
and to be honest, like, there's a good chance I've never seen that money. My paycheck went into the bank as direct deposit. I
yeah,
took my little card, I swiped it somewhere, or I tapped it, or I put my number in somewhere, and then they just subtract some numbers out of that account. Like,
so we've probably been using
for all I know, they
crypto
could be
for a
using red
while,
beans back there.
and we just don't know it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree that it's literally, if as long as you can take your crypto debit card, put it into a
Hmm.
crypto ATM and pull out real cash, there'd be no
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
There'd be no
And
difference.
I agree with that. My problem with I guess, with the crypto is kind of like along the lines of what Vic said. Like, if I lose my debit card, I can walk in my bank and say, "Hey, I lost my debit card. Here's my driver's license," and they give me a new one, and I still have access to my money. Now, if I've put my crypto on a crypto wallet that's, I've seen the ones that got the little keypad on top where you put your pin in. Well, if I fall tomorrow and bump my head and forget the pin to that, what happens to all of my assets?
Yeah, or
So
I, I think when you set up those wallets, what do you get, like what, 10 random words that you just have to remember for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I don't. I've never set one up, so I honestly don't know. I just know that um, I've never tried it. I keep saying that I'm going to, but part of my problem is like I can't afford Bitcoin as much as I'd like to. Like here,
Sure,
I might have
sure you
enough
can.
money to look at a screenshot third party of somebody's Bitcoin,
Hey, you
but
get a little crumb. Just start out with $50.
yeah, but like I guess for me, and one of like the one benefit I see to crypto is the decentralization. Like if I wanted to put all my money in, I don't know, this is the only one I can remember that's offshore is Dogecoin, over in Germany, I think it is, right? Like I should be able to do that without penalty. It's my money. Um,
It's true. Yeah.
and to some extent, I think that as long as any company that makes crypto has done some kind of went through some kind of vetting process to make sure that they can circulate their currency in the financial sector effectively, they should be taken. Or at the very least, very easily, I could go trade in and say like, I don't know, make something up. Say Walmart comes out and says they only accept Bitcoin, and I've got all Dogecoin. Well, then I should be able to go somewhere online and just like I would with a dollar to euro, make that conversion somewhere.
And you think it become?
You
I
know?
mean, it kind of looks like credit cards. It's kind of like like they sold us on this. Everybody wants all this crypto.
Yeah,
But we've been doing digital currency for a while. Just
we
like
have,
the the,
and
the,
I
the
think
top.
that's my thing is thinking about it that way is like I think it might just to me be adding a layer of complexity we don't need.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Just like
Why
Especially
why
when
does it have to be this complicated blockchain and algorithmic hash of magic numbers that align to the cosmic dust somewhere else? It's some cool magic in there, but a lot of it's magic in a box to me. But why does it have to be that way? Like we have been working just fine for how long? I mean, just think back to checks. Like when the checks came out in I think the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s. You know, like that system still works to this day, and you don't physically change money. So I don't know. I think maybe now that I think about it, that's just my biggest hangup is we're adding all these layers of complexity that in the end, realistically, just like the new the 3.5% charge you go everywhere to use a card these days, is just going to cost you money to use money because everybody's going to want their piece of the administrative pie to move that from point A to point B.
yeah, and then adding the complexity of it still being a form of investing that fluctuates. So that your account balance one day might be, 100 grand because Bitcoin is
Yeah.
up, and then something happens in the market, and then boom, you're down to like 94,000. You're like, wait,
Yeah.
I just, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it can go the other way as well, but that's no one's debit account is doing that, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and I think that's where how did they word it? I can't think of the words. The dollar backed options or legal tender backed options that hold a one for one value. That's where they come in,
Yeah.
but they shouldn't be centrally controlled, and they shouldn't be the only form of tender,
yeah,
whether crypto or not. But just like just like 401ks and TSP, the stable dollar backed ones, that's your G fund. It ain't moving. You're not gonna lose any money. You're not gonna make any money, but you're not gonna lose any money. A dollar today is a dollar tomorrow, Um, and that's kind of analogous to a normal checking account. I think my checking account earns, some 0.0004% interest, something annually. You know, every like 3 years they send me a penny and say, "Good job, you did it." So
So you know what I don't understand, and I feel like would almost not eliminate, but would damage the whole crypto world is like crypto is, it's a stock investment, right? For the most
right,
part. So you're almost taking your future your investment, and you're adding a card to it that you can make transactions with. You can take your crypto and you can buy things with, right? How
Right.
come no one's ever pitched the idea to do that with your 401k or whatever you have in the stock market, right? Without penalty. If you just spend it right out of there, right? Instead of trying to every time you withdraw, it's supposed to be some penalty, taxes, and everything
Right.
within certain time periods. But it seems like with crypto, you can almost do whatever you want with it, right? That's
Well, I don't know all of them. I know from having friends that play in that world, there are some of those tax liabilities depending on where you put in and pull your money out of the crypto exchanges and stuff like that. And I don't know all the ins and outs. It may be, pennies on the dollar compared to moving, stuff in a IRA or even your stock brokerage account. Um, because in the end, the government's going to get theirs. If they ain't figured it out, I'm sure they figured it out by now. I mean, you got away with it for a couple years in the beginning, but at this point, there's no way to easily get around it. I guess, or there shouldn't be anyway. Like the government should be getting their cut of it, just like they get out of my 401k if I pull from it or whatever. Um,
Yeah, there's an article right here. It says since 2022, some retirement plans have offered the option to invest in crypto assets through 401ks.
yeah, and I know it's becoming more and more more and more of a thing, but like I don't know. It's still a big mystery to me, and I'm the first to admit that. Like my hesitancy is due to a lot of cluelessness. But I can't seem to find the motivation to get rid of some of that cluelessness either. Like it just doesn't resonate with me as being worthwhile. And I mean, I could be losing out on millions. I don't know, but
it.
like it's nothing about it inspires me to go figure out what's going on to be in it right now.
I think the main reason for that and why I agree with you is I've always looked at it as a pyramid scheme. And
Mhm.
pyramid scheme not meaning it's fake or something's wrong with it. It's just
Right.
it gives me that feeling like everybody that got in the beginning, they're all at the
Hmm.
top of the pyramid getting all this money, getting
Right.
paid, and everybody of us that keeps trying to get in now, we're not making anything. We're not, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like you said, right? If a Bitcoin is $95,000, what? How can we afford one Bitcoin?
None of us are ever going to get a Bitcoin.
Now you're
No.
sitting here
And
in the
even
world
to that,
like
like
buying fractions of a Bitcoin.
yeah, and now it's like it's been around and it's gained enough popularity. So many people have figured out how they're going to make money off of crypto, whether it's mining the crypto, generating the crypto, moving the crypto for you, holding the crypto in a crypto wallet. Like now, it's almost like it's just a money grabbing scheme to some extent to jump in on it,
Yeah,
and it's frustrating because I brought it up a few minutes ago. Suddenly since 2020, just about everywhere you go, it's like, oh, you're paying with a credit card, you know, that's been out for 25 years. We're now going to charge you 3.5% extra for the processing fee. Like, really? Like, you can't figure out how to build this into your uh, business plan because you figured out how to do it with your regular banking and how to get um, everything up and going that way. Like, when checks came out, it didn't take you long to figure out how to pass off the buck on, um, you know, or how to incorporate the cost for paying the bank to process your checks. That comes with a price. I don't remember all the prices, but my dad ran his own business for a while, and I remember him setting up a bank account, and like, I, I don't remember all the details, but I remember explaining to me one time, like, he was charged based on the number of transactions a month. So he would always try and, like, if he could, get half of his customers to pay like right before the end of the month and the other half to pay right after the first of the month to break those up.
Smart. Did different times.
But he figured out how to build that into his overhead, and he knew what that was going to be. Um, so it's like, as a business, like, you use this service to process credit cards, like, don't make it a 3.5% upcharge at the register. Offer me a 3.5% discount for using cash.
Yeah, that's what they do for gas. It's always cheaper if you use cash.
Yeah. Um, but anyway, we're getting a little long, so I guess
Overall,
we'll finish this one up. So the new executive order also establishes a new working group within the Economic Council, um, strictly related to the crypto and AI and how AI is going to feed into the financial sector. Vic, as you and I have talked about before, I'm definitely very cynical of AI, so I'm glad to see this coming. Hopefully, they don't abuse it and they will do the right thing to keep it in check and make sure people and machines are using better judgment to do things. Because I definitely don't want Rosie the robot getting rich off of me. I mean, I know it's already happening, but, like, you know, and it sets up some rules for how they're going to report and what they're kind of reporting on, and then they did he did prohibit actions to establish, issue, and promote the central bank digital currencies within the U.S. Um, it added the blurb in here with the except where required by law. I think he did that for the couple of countries that are thinking about making it legal tender for international trade. You kind of have to put that in there so that you know, we can continue to trade with those peoples, but it won't be our CBDCs. It'll be, I don't know what Brazil uses, the llama coin or whatever. Um, no, llama's Peru. That was, yeah. Anyway. Uh, yeah, that's just kind of the one that I picked up on, and found interesting. But again, I'm admittedly a cynic for AI and crypto. So any other ones that y'all found really noteworthy?
Now I tell you what, even though I'm not completely sold on crypto, I am kind of interested in this whole 401k crypto investing. I mean, Bitcoin's only getting more and more valuable.
Yeah, I think so. I have a fear, and I don't know how logical this is. Um, that when the governments really do start trying to crack down on it, though, I think that the ones like Bitcoin and Athena and some of the other big name players right now, I think that they're going to lose a little bit of money. I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. I don't. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't know how big that slide's going to be, because obviously the market's going to, like, if the government came out tomorrow, if the U.S. came out tomorrow and said, "Oh, here's the U.S. crypto dollar. It's the dollar-backed stable coin, whatever." It did all the things, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, Britain did it, and then the EU did it, and then, you know within, say, a year, all these, national cryptocurrencies have hit the market. People are automatically going to start investing into that over crypto, or over like Bitcoin and stuff, because that's what they need to function. So
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
that equalization going to look like?
Yeah, we shall see. If future is unknown,
Yep.
I still need to do some more research on crypto. I'm ready to just put some of my 401k into it.
Yeah. Sam, you going to write us a research paper on this?
oh no, no sir, no sir,
Why not? I thought you liked that process.
no. I mean, I'll tell Chat GPT to do it for you, and then there you go.
Yep. See, for that reason, I'm out.
that AI.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we'll leave this one here. This was a good little talk. I think it took an unexpected twist on us, but I think it was a good talk. I think we covered some good things. Um,
Definitely.
so I think we'll just leave it here. Either you two got anything before we step out?
No, that was good. Yeah. I
Mm.
guess do you think it's good to end it on, our opinions? Do we agree with the executive order or we disagree with it? just to
I
kind
don't
of.
know. That's a good question, Sam. What do you on board with this, or you think they went a wrong direction?
I think it was heavily sided with protecting the citizens overall. So yeah, I agree with it.
Okay, Vic.
Yeah, I mean, it's there to get some kind of regulation because right there isn't much. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with
I
it.
think there's some. Me personally, I think there's some lines in here that need to be proven over time. Overall, I think it was the right starting move. We'll see where it goes. So with that, we'll leave y'all for the evening. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you out of focus next time.